All right, let's keep working with proportions. In this lesson, we're going to be using unit conversions written as ratios, and we're going to be multiplying to convert units. So for this first question, it says prepare for a bike race. Rex rides his bike for 16 miles each day for 4 days. Right now, let's not look at the 4 days part. Let's just focus on the 16 miles because it says that the app he uses only tracks the distance in kilometers. We're given a conversion factor here that 1 mile equals 1.61 kilometers, so we need to find the distance in kilometers. So when you set these problems up, you're going to always start them the same way. You're going to start with the distance that you're given, which in this case is miles. So I'm going to write 16 miles, or sorry, the unit you're given, over 1. Right? Always put it over 1. It doesn't change anything. But since we're going to be multiplying this ratio by another ratio, right, a fraction times a fraction, I like for them to both be in fraction form. Now, we're going to multiply by the conversion rate written as a ratio. Now remember, whenever you have a number over itself, that just equals 1, right? So for example, if I write 60 seconds over 1 minute, I mean, they're the same thing, right? That equals 1. So by multiplying by these conversion ratios, since the top equals the bottom, I'm not changing the value. I'm multiplying by a fraction that has a value of 1. Now, the way that I write my conversion ratio is going to depend on what I want to cancel out. Let me give you another side example. Let's say we have 5 over 1 times 3 over 5. The 5s are going to equal 1 because I've got a 5 on top and a 5 on the bottom. And actually, when I multiply this out, I would have 5 times 3 on top. I'd have 1 times 5 on the bottom, right? But 5 over 5 equals 1, and I would just get 3. So just the same way that these 5s cancel, our units are going to cancel. But the only way you can get them to cancel is if there's 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. So now let's look at our conversion. Our conversion that we're given here is that 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers. I have miles on the top here. So in my conversion ratio, I want miles to be on the bottom, and I want kilometers to be on the top. The one that you want to cancel, you want to have on the bottom, because now the miles will cancel, because mile over mile is just 1. And now I can see that I just have to multiply on the top and multiply on the bottom, and the only unit I have left is kilometers. So I'm going to use my calculator for this. And I'm going to do 16 times 1.61, and that is 25.76 kilometers. On the bottom, I would just have a 1, so we don't really need to write that. You can just write 25.76 kilometers. Now that's each day, right? And it says that he's going to bike for 4 days. So now we're going to have to take that 25.76 kilometers, because that's each day, right? And multiply it by 4. So I still have it on my calculator. So I'm just going to hit times 4 equals, and I get 103.04 kilometers. That's his total distance for all 4 days. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so here we've got a swimming pool, and we've got, let's see, we have the distance, or the length for each dimension, right? So we know that it's 10 feet deep, 22 feet long, 14 feet wide. We're asked to determine the volume, and we're given the formula for volume, and we have to find it in meters. Actually, cubic meters, because when we measure volume, we're counting cubes. So, anytime you're asked to do some sort of calculation with these measurements, always convert first. Everyone hear that? Always convert first. So let's convert our depth, right? Or I guess that would be our height in this case, our length and our width, right? How deep the pool is going to be like the height of our rectangular prism. Okay, so let's start with our height. So the height is 10 feet. I'm going to put that over 1. I'm going to use the conversion ratio. 1 foot equals 305 thousandths of a meter. So when deciding which one goes on top and which one goes on the bottom, I want feet to cancel. So I have feet on top, so feet has to go on the bottom, and 0.305 goes on top. And that's easy. Multiplying by 10, I just move it one place to the right. So the decimal, so I get, oh wait, I didn't write meters. So then I get 0 points, actually, no 0 point anymore, right? So let me get rid of that, because I moved the decimal one place to the right. If you're not sure how to multiply 10 by 0.305, you can always use your calculator. But when you do it, you're going to get 3.05 meters, because our feet are going to cancel. All right, let's see what's next, the length. So the length is going to be, they give us that the length is 22. So 22 feet times, and then same conversion factor, right? I still want feet to cancel, so I'm going to set it up the same way, 0.305 meters. So I'm going to multiply this, I'm going to use my calculator for. So 0.305 times 22 is 6.71 meters. And then my width is 14 feet. So 14 feet, so it should be somewhere in between the two. 0.305 over 1 foot. So 0.305 times 14 is 4.27. Now to find the volume, I'm going to use the formula. Volume is equal to length times width times height. So I need to multiply these three numbers that I got. I already have this one in my calculator, so I'll keep that in there. And then I'll do times 6.71 times 3.05. I got a really long answer. But it says to round the answer to the nearest cubic meter. That means the nearest whole number. You can see what my answer is. I'll hold it up a little bit so you can see it better. So to the nearest whole number, that means I'd be looking at the 7, and do I leave it a 7 or does it become an 8, right? So since the next number is a 3, that 7 is going to become an 8. I'm sorry, the 7 is going to stay where it is, right? Because the next number is 4 or below, keep it low. 5 or above, give it a shove. It is 4 or below, so I'm going to keep it low. And it's going to be 87 cubic meters. All right, that is our volume. Got 3 more for you. For a craft project, you need 145 inches of ribbon, but it's only sold by the meter. Determine the amount of ribbon in meters you need to buy for the project. Okay, so we're going to start off with the dimension that we're given, which is 145 inches, right, over 1. Now, I've got 2 conversion factors here, right? So the one that I'm going to use is the one that has inches, right? So if I already have inches on the top, I want the inches to cancel, so I'm going to put, using this conversion factor, I'm going to put 1 inch on the bottom and 2.54 centimeters on top. Then I've got another one, because after doing this, my answer is going to be in centimeters because my inches will cancel. But I don't want it in centimeters, I want it in meters. So I've got to do the next conversion factor. The next one is 1 centimeter equals 1/100th of a meter. So I want the centimeters to cancel, so it has to go on the bottom because the other centimeter is already on the top. And then 0.01 meters goes on top. All that's left, so my centimeters cancel. The only unit left is meters, and all I have left to do is multiply. So 145 times 2.54 times 0.01 is 3.683, and that's meters, right? On the bottom, I've just got 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1, so I don't even need to do that. And that's it, we're done. So this problem had 2 conversions that we had to do. All right, you're vacationing in Jamaica from the United States and have $25 US to spend on souvenirs. How many souvenirs can you buy if each one costs 200 Jamaican dollars? So remember, before you do any calculation with how many can we buy, how many does, fits into this, before we do any of that, let's convert first. So we start off with 200 Jamaican dollars. So I'm going to put JD, right? And I'm going to put that over 1. Then I'm going to multiply by my conversion factor. But remember, I want the Jamaican dollars to cancel out, right? So I'm going to take this conversion factor and I'm going to put Jamaican dollars on the bottom of the fraction because I have Jamaican dollars on the top, right? I need them to cancel. And then 1 US dollar on top. So now Jamaican dollars will cancel. I multiply straight across, so I get 200 times 1 US dollars over 154.8. One more step, I have to divide, right? What is 200 over 154.8? Fraction bar means divide. So 200 divided by 154.8 is, and I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth because it's money, is 1.29. Okay, so each souvenir costs, right? One souvenir costs 200 Jamaican dollars, which we know is just $1.29. So now, how many souvenirs can I buy for $25? Well, that depends. How many times does $1.29 go into 25, right? How many of them fit in 25? That's a division problem, right? So on your calculator, we're going to do 25 divided by 1.29, because now we're just strictly in US dollars, right? We already did the conversion. $25 is what we have. Each one is $1.29. How many can we buy? We're going to have to divide. 25 divided by 1.29 is 19 point, if I round to the hundredths, 38. Now they are not going to let you buy 38 hundredths of a souvenir, right? You can't buy a partial part of a souvenir. So the most you can buy would be 19 souvenirs. And then you'll have a little bit left over. All right, one more. A rectangle has a length of and a width of, and then we have a conversion, and we're asked to find the area. Remember, before you do any calculations, convert, right? Always do your conversions first. So we've got a length of 24 inches. And we're asked to find it in centimeters. This should actually say in square centimeters because it's area, and area is measured in squares. But anyway, we'll get to that in Module 5. So 24 inches over 1, and here's our conversion factor. Since we have inches on the top, we're going to want to put inches on the bottom, and then 2.54 centimeters on top. So now, again, it's just multiplying fractions, right? So we just go straight across the top, straight across the bottom. The inches will cancel. And let's see what we've got. 12 times 2.54 is 30.48, and that's centimeters. All right, let's convert the width. So the width we're given is 13 inches. We're going to put that over 1. And again, same conversion factor. Inches is going to go on the bottom so that we can cancel them. And then 2.54 centimeters is on top. So the inches will cancel. We'll multiply 13 times 2.54. And we get 33 points. Did I write that right? 33.02, but wait, this is smaller. I have to redo that on the calculator. I think I hit a wrong button because it shouldn't be larger. It's a smaller number. So let me recalculate that. So 13 times 2.54. Oh, let me go back and recalculate the other one. Is 33. This one is 33.02 centimeters. Let me go back and try that one again. 24 times 2.54. Oh, you guys, I was like off by a lot. This is 60.96 centimeters. All right, sorry, that was a little calculator malfunction. User error. Okay, so now that we have the length and width, now the area is just going to be to multiply those together. So I already have this one in my calculator because I had to redo it, times 33.02. Ooh, it's a pretty big number. And it says round to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to show you what I got. So nearest tenth means 1 decimal place. So that means the 8, right? I need to decide if that 8 stays an 8 or if it goes up to a 9. Since the next number is a 9, then my 8 is going to round up. So I'll get 2012.9 if I round to the nearest tenth. And this is in square centimeters. All right, so as always, any questions, let me know. Happy to answer them, and I'll talk to you soon.